really confusing time right now. We hear a lot in the news. And I think it's a really great time for us to remember that the ways of Jesus do not align perfectly with any political party. So what I'm speaking of is really hopefully a biblical way of viewing immigration, so don't throw tomatoes at me, because I know it can be a really triggering issue. But we really believe that God created people in the image of himself, and they deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. And it is possible to uphold our laws and make sure our borders are safe and secure and treat people with dignity and humanity. Now, that's not what you're hearing in the news most of the time, because people want to share the most explosive statistics and news. But what I'm sharing with you really is news from information that we've gathered from trusted partners right here in our city. So I just want to also say that it's a great time to remember the gospel, that we were strangers and aliens, alienated from God, and he rescued us. He brought us into his family. And so we can, because we have been rescued and redeemed, we can share the same kind of hospitality and compassion to those who are in our city and often are caught in a very broken system. So I want to give you one example of that. As you know, there's this war in Ukraine, and the United States welcomed Ukrainians after the war broke out. We said, hey, we want to provide a safe place for you while this conflict goes on. And so we welcomed Ukrainians, offered them the opportunity to work here, provide for themselves. And then recently, our government changed its mind and said, no, we're going to withdraw your temporary protected status. And all of a sudden, now there's Ukrainians in our city who no longer have the right to work and provide for themselves. So you can imagine they're in a very desperate situation. They can't work lawfully, but they also can't go back to their country because many of them have lost their homes. And so these are the types of people we're really trying to care for in this season. I've been talking to a lot of our affiliate partners across the city, and it's just really distressing to hear the fear that's bubbling up in our immigrant communities. Even those who lead the organizations that we work with as people of color are afraid because of the environment that's being created right now. Chris Sandoval is a pastor down in Barrio Logan. He was born in Chicago. He went to MIT, but because he's a person of color and he has a Cuban background, he's really afraid walking his daughter to school because of the government presence in that community. And so I think, we can have a lot of compassion for people who are just afraid, even if they've done nothing wrong. It's leading to kids not going to school, parents not going to work, because they're just afraid to be out in the community. So we're trying to do some food distribution and just alleviate some of the pain people are experiencing. So just want to mention a couple things that we can do as a community to just care for our neighbors right now and be a loving presence. 3 things. One is you can just meet an immigrant and hear their story. There's lots of opportunities through Hope for San Diego to volunteer. We have San Diego Refugee Tutoring Bike Days coming up in May. It's a fun opportunity just to give kids a break from the pressure and stress they're experiencing in their homes, in their communities, in their schools. Super fun in May. Also, next week, March 24th, World Relief is doing a panel discussion with some legal experts talking about a biblical perspective on our immigration policies. And so if you're curious and want to learn more, that's a great opportunity just to learn. You can sign up for Hope for San Diego's newsletter. We have updates once a month. You plugged Covenant's newsletter. It is a great way just to keep informed. Second, you can give. We started an emergency fund through Hope for San Diego that's helping with these food distributions. And I also talked to Gabe about even the youth doing a grocery packing day. So we're trying to get food to some of these communities. Refugees and asylees are all losing their food benefits as of April 1. So you can imagine if you're already living on a tight budget, trying to just make a new life here, and all of a sudden your food benefits are cut. It's a huge blow. And so that we're stepping that up. And third, I would just say it's Lent, and God invites us the opportunity just to lament. So we can lament our broken immigration system, we can lament the pain our neighbors are experiencing, and we can just ask God, cry out to Him. I find great comfort knowing that He holds all of this. Even when it's confusing and we feel powerless, He is powerful, and so we can cry out to Him to intervene and on behalf of our most vulnerable neighbors.
Thank you so much.